Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm happy to have you here with me today, where I am happy to say also that I am feeling significantly better than I have been feeling. I have been fighting off the worst viral infection I have ever had in my life for over 3 weeks now, but I feel like I am finally on the other side of it. So that is absolutely fantastic. And on the note of fantastic things, we hit 200,000 on our channel here on Friday, I think Thursday or Friday last week, and I was so excited about it. Sadly, I was too sick to be able to do much celebrating at the time. One of the things that we have done, however, to celebrate is to put together a fabulous giveaway for you. I am so excited about all of these prizes. I have a full list of all of the prizes that we're offering down in the show notes below. And I think the last video I did share, I showed you all of the things that we're going to be offering for this giveaway. But for the next couple of weeks until the giveaway closes on the, let me see, it'll close at midnight on the 5th of December. So up until that point, I'll keep the list of all the prizes in the show notes so that you can check it out on all my videos, but I didn't want to waste your time showing every single one on every single video. The grand prize is a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and I have a link to enter that giveaway down in the show notes. And then for all of the other prizes, all you have to do is be signed up for my newsletter. So if you're already part of my newsletter, you're automatically entered into this giveaway. But if you're not and you would like to be, the link to sign up for it is down in the show notes below. Again, I just wanted to thank you so much for watching our videos, subscribing, liking our videos, sharing them, all the things that you do to support us here on our channel. We are so deeply grateful for that. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is getting started on the Christmas baskets that I'm making for my friends and family for Christmas. And I have put together a blog post with a list of all of the different things that we're going to be making for these gift baskets. And I'll be sharing each of those with you over the next couple of weeks. We're going to get started today, however, because one of the first things that I want to make for these gift baskets is some homemade soap. The recipe that I've been using to make this honey, I keep wanting to say whole wheat. It's because I make a honey whole wheat bread as well, but this honey oats soap that I'm going to make is from the Nerdy Farm Wife, and I'll link it down below. I'll also run you through the ingredients that we're going to be using, but all the detailed instructions are over on her blog, so you can go and check those out. This is the first soap recipe that I have ever tried, and we love it so much because it's not really drying to our skin. And we live in a very dry climate, especially in the wintertime when our wood stoves are going. So having a soap that actually nourishes our skin is fantastic, and this soap has been so good. So I haven't veered away from the original recipe that I started making soap with, because it's just an awesome recipe. If you are a beginner soap maker, which I certainly still am, like I said, I've only been doing it for around a year, then this is a great recipe to get started with. I am going to be making so many fun things for these gift baskets, and I'm really excited about it. Over the last couple of years, I have felt my excitement for the holiday season kind of waning. And so in order to reinvigorate that this year, I decided to get just right into it and make homemade gifts for all of my family and friends, to put a lot of effort into Christmas baking, which I usually do every year, but just really put my heart into it this year and try to reignite in my spirit and my heart my love for the holiday season. Because growing up, my mom put so much effort into making the holidays and Christmas just so much fun for us, and I have always tried to do the same thing for my family, but I just kind of want my heart to be in it again, and I think that this is a really great way to reignite that in myself. On Friday evenings, we meet the LMR membership community, which if you want some more information about that, there's also a link for that down in the show notes. We meet every Friday, and this past Friday we talked all about homemade Christmas gifts, and it was so inspiring to see what all of these creative women in this community are doing for the holiday season. I'm not really the craftiest person in the world. I can follow directions and create something that turns out okay, but I'm not really self-inspired when it comes to crafting. So being able to hear all of these amazing ideas for gift baskets or just handmade gifts, it was just so much fun. So I did take some of the ideas from community members as well. So these are all the different things I'm going to be putting in these baskets. Homemade wool dryer balls. I have a whole bunch of wool that we sheared off of our sheep. We have Romney sheep. And we took all of that wool and we've been learning how to process it, but I have a whole bunch of extra wool. And so I thought making dryer balls, scented dryer balls with lavender or something like that would be really fun. So I'm gonna do that. We're going to make fluffernutters, which is a recipe from my friend Crystal from the Whole Fed Homestead. And I'll link all of these recipes in the blog post that I'm putting together for you that have all the links for all of this. So we're going to be making those, and those are also made with homemade marshmallows, which I've made a few times. So we're going to be doing that together. We have been wanting to try making where you can make the hot chocolate in a chocolate ball, and then you put that and you pour the hot milk or the hot water on the top and it kind of explodes and all the good stuff comes. And anyways, I want to try to make those. Homemade chapstick, which I've made lots of times before, so I'm going to make some of those. Homemade caramels, and those ones are from Turner Farm. Waxed food wraps. A friend of mine made me a whole bunch of waxed food wraps, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now, and I have used them to death. I need to make some more for myself, and I thought those would be a great thing to add into our baskets as well. And lastly, we're going to make some homemade beeswax candles because I have a lot of beeswax. And then of course, we're also going to add some preserves. I want to make some carrot cake jam. It's kind of a novel jam that I experimented with this year that we all really loved. So I'm going to make a batch of that in little jars to throw into those gift baskets as well. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get right into making the soap first, because the soap does have some curing time. It does need to cure for 4 to 6 weeks. We're cutting it a little close right now. The idea to do this just came to me a couple of days ago, and I needed to wait until I was feeling well enough to get into that project. So we are going to do that right now. I'm going to show you all the ingredients that we are using for this recipe. We are going to add 22.5 ounces of organic olive oil, and I already have everything measured out. One of the things that's really important when you are soap making is that you do use a scale for weighing all of your ingredients. So I just have this little tiny kitchen scale here. It is the Briffit brand. I bought this a few years ago from Amazon. It wasn't expensive, but it works well. So we have our 22.5 ounces of olive oil, 7.5 ounces of organic coconut oil, 9 ounces of distilled water, 4.5 ounces of sodium hydroxide, half a tablespoon of ground oats here, which I have already ground up, 1 teaspoon of honey, and I haven't actually measured this out yet. So we're going to take 1 teaspoon of honey and dissolve it. Ooh, this is kind of stuck on, and dissolve it in some warm water. 1 tablespoon of warm water, I think it is. 1 teaspoon of warm water. So we have our 1 teaspoon of warm water in here, and then we have our 1 teaspoon of honey here that we're going to add into this water. And we're just going to mix this together so that the honey dissolves into the water. So the other thing that I'm going to add is half a tablespoon of cacao butter here, and we'll be melting this down with our olive oil in a minute. We are also going to add a little bit of oil to scent them, and this one is called Christmas Spirit, and it just has a really nice Christmassy scent to it. So we are going to mix our sodium hydroxide and our water together, but we're going to do that outside, and I'm going to wear eye protection and put some gloves on as well, because it is very toxic and the fumes are very toxic as well. You can do it inside. Lots of soap makers, most soap makers I think, make their soap indoors as long as you have really good ventilation. But since I have a place that I can just do this right outside, it's nice and cool because we are heading into winter here. So it's cool outside, and the mixing of the sodium hydroxide and the water does create a lot of heat, and we do want it to cool down fairly significantly before we can actually mix it in with all of our fats. So just doing it outside makes sense in my situation. And I'm just going to get our coconut oil, which, like I said, I've got measured out here already, onto the stove so it can melt down. Whenever I am making soap, I really try to scrape out every last bit of oil that I have out of my containers, because this is all measured by weight, and I want to make sure that I have the right ratios of my fat to my lye and my water. So when it comes to soap making, it's best to have equipment that you're going to be using only for soap making, because the process of soap making is fairly caustic and poisonous, and so you don't want to have any residue left on something that you're going to be using for cooking at a later date. So I use one of these big mayonnaise containers for mixing, and then this little bowl is what I use to mix my water and my lye in. And like I said, I already have both water and lye all measured out. So we'll take these outside and get them mixing. Okay, we're gonna add our water and our lye. So you can probably see the steam already coming off there as it heats up. So just mixing this well so that the lye is all dissolved into the water. And then we'll let this out here to cool while we get the rest of our ingredients all mixed together. Okay, we want that lye solution to cool down to around 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll let that happen. And in the meantime, we're going to add our olive oil into our big bowl here and scrape it all out, every last drop. And then into this, we are going to add our melted coconut oil and our half a tablespoon of our melted cacao butter, and get these all mixed together. And then I'm going to have our honey sitting by here along with our oats, because we're going to add those once we've mixed our lye in to this and it has started to emulsify. Then we'll add these two things, and then we will mix it with our stick blender, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So we're going to have our stick blender on the ready. So I'm going to set all of our molds on a cooling rack here, because when our soap is curing for the first 24 to 48 hours, we want to have some good air circulation being able to move around our soap, and having it on a cooling rack like this helps. These ones are so pretty. I love molds that have patterns in the bottom of them. I'll show you some of the ones that I have made already. I'm just about out, actually. So my preference is to use smaller molds like this for soap. I don't like the big, huge chunks of soap that you get when you're cutting slices, which you've probably seen if you've watched any soap making videos. I just prefer smaller bars of soap for in the shower, by the sink, and I love pretty patterns in my soap. So one sec, I'll grab some to show you. This one here, the swirly one, is my favorite one, and then I have a whole bunch of different flower ones. And I did have a couple of people ask me on, I think, my last soap making video about whether I've had a lot of issues with bubbles in my soap, and I haven't really. I mean, there's a couple you can probably see in there, but because I'm just making this for our own home use, and in this case to give away to family and friends, it doesn't need to be perfect. As long as the soap itself works really well and it looks relatively pretty, I'm not worried about a few little air bubbles in it. And like I said, I really am a beginner soap maker, so maybe as I progress in my skill level, I'll get a little bit more concerned about things like that. But for now, they are just perfectly fine the way they are, I think. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit of the mess here. There's really not a lot of mess to deal with, but just get all my ingredients put away. We did an upgrade on our pantry storage area and created a warehouse room down in our basement. And so it has all of like my soap making stuff in one spot and my canning stuff in one spot. And it's just, when I went down to collect all my soap making materials this morning, it was just all in one place, and I knew exactly where it was, and it was just so fantastic, and it saved me so much time. And I'm excited to say we are making some serious progress, even in the midst of having this horrible flu moving through the house, on the office. Dan got all the drywall done, the actual mudding and all of that, kind of during the week, during the beginning part of the week. last week, and then I got it primed yesterday, and I'm hoping today, as long as my energy level stays up and I'm feeling as good as I am right now, I'm hoping to get a coat of paint on it, and I'll show you the color that we picked for painting the office. But I'm so excited because that's the last room in our basement to be done, and then we're going to be able to move up to doing some of the facelifts that we're wanting to do on the space that we're currently in, our living room and our upstairs bathroom. So it's very exciting. So I'm just going to quickly run out and check the temperature of our lye and see where we're at. We're still at 140 degrees, so we have a little ways to go before we're going to be able to actually mix our soap up. So with the whole getting the warehouse room downstairs, one of the things that I've been working on in conjunction with that project is going through my kitchen cupboards and taking out anything that was cluttering it up, because it's not a huge kitchen and there is a lot of appliances that I had up here and pots, and we use really large pots and bowls, and they were just taking up so much room. So I have been slowly migrating those down to the warehouse room. And kind of while I've been doing that, I've been just doing some organizational stuff in the kitchen. Like I said, I've been slowly working my way through all my cupboards. And one of the cupboards that I am so happy to have organized is my spice cupboard. So I'm just going to take all this stuff out because I want to show you something else I've been wanting to do in here. So I got this little spice rack, and this was just off of Amazon the other day. So I took out all my large jars of spices, because this was just basically packed full of spices, and it was so hard to see what was in there. And this I love because all of the jars are just easily labeled, so I'm keeping all my bulk spices down in my pantry, and then just refilling these little ones whenever they run out of space, which has made this cupboard so much easier. And then I have my favorite teacups and tea up on this shelf, and then just a couple of the flavored salts and food coloring and birthday candles, and then my gelatin powder, which I use for making homemade marshmallows and homemade gummies. And then this one was just an Organica, which is a brand that I really like, enhanced collagen protein, which I have been taking recently. But as you can see, the inside of these cupboards are looking a little bit grimy. So I did give them a fresh coat of paint probably last year, and they're still looking a little grimy. So what I wanted to do was to line them. I've been looking for something really pretty to line these cupboards with, and I finally found what I was looking for. This is just such a pretty paper. Isn't that beautiful? And it goes perfectly with my kitchen, and it adds a little bit of color to the cupboards, which I love. Dan says that I have always been a grandma at heart. Now I am actually a grandmother. I have a 2-year-old grandson. But we were looking back at pictures of even our very first house, and I have always decorated kind of in a grandma sort of style. So this is definitely keeping with that kind of grandma theme. So I was thinking of maybe just lining the bottom of the cupboards like that, but I was also thinking of maybe, whoops, that's gonna come down, lining the back with it, so that when you open up the cupboard, you see this color there, and I just really love it. I think I am gonna do this because I just think that looks pretty and it's cheerful. And I'm really at this phase of my life where I'm trying to create joy around myself anywhere that I can, because it just helps to create a little bit of a buffer between me and the more difficult aspects of life, when I can just have these just little moments of joy. And I feel like if I opened up this cupboard in the morning to grab my teacup and I saw this, it would make me feel happy. So I think that is what I'm going to do, but let's see what Dan thinks. Okay, I'm doing it. I just think it looks beautiful. Isn't it so cheerful? Okay, awesome. Okay, so Dan loves it, so yay for that. So our lye, I just checked the lye, and it is now at the right temperature. So we're going to put this soap together and get it poured into the molds, and then we'll finish putting that on. I am so happy that Dan loves it because I love it too. So we're going to put our eye protection back on. And we are going to mix. We're just going to pulse and mix and pulse and mix. Going to add our honey. And our oats. And then we're going to add a bunch of our oil into here, whole bunch. And now we're going to mix this until we have what's called trace, and I'll show you what that is. So what we're looking for is when we pick this up and there's drops coming off, we're looking for those to sit for just a second on the surface of our soap. Okay, there we go. Now we have a nice trace on there. Okay, we're going to cover this up with some parchment paper. And on top of this, we're going to put a dish towel, and that will just help this to cool down slowly so it doesn't end up cracking. Once those have cured for 24 to 48 hours, you just want them to be firm enough that you can flip them out of the molds. Then they will sit in the air, in the open air. I usually put them down in my pantry. There's less dust down there and less opportunity for things to get into the soap. And I just keep them lightly covered and then flip them once every day or so that they can dry evenly, and then I'll be able to put a little bow on them or something like that and put them in the gift baskets. But I'm going to take you through the whole process of these gift baskets right till the point when we put everything into the baskets themselves. So I'll show you that when we get there. But right now we are going to put this really pretty liner into this cupboard. I'm only going to do this one cupboard right now because I am starting to feel a little bit tired. That's the one thing about this illness that I've had, is I can be feeling fine, but my energy levels are not quite what they were before I got sick. So I think that's going to take me a while to get back to my old self again. But pacing myself, just doing projects in small doses like this seems to be working just fine. So just like doing wallpaper, I did a lot of wallpaper when I was younger, when wallpaper was really a thing. I feel like it's coming back now, and I'm glad for that because I love wallpaper. But it is actually, the tricky part is matching up the pattern so that you can't see the line in it. So that is what I'm going to do next. Our pattern there. Okay, let's get this piece on. Look at how pretty that looks. Okay, I'm just gonna go get a scraper to make sure that it's nice and smooth. Okay, now for the matching. Okay, you can't even see the seam. This makes me very happy. And that's the point of it. I absolutely love it. Do you know what's fun for me about having an older kitchen like this? So our house was built in the early 1970s. This is the same kitchen that was in it, but we have over the years completely reconfigured it. We put the little trim on all of the cupboards. They were just flat plywood cupboards, and then painted it. We've painted it multiple times over the years. I think I've changed the color on here at least 5 times in this kitchen. But it doesn't really matter. I can just do it, have fun with it. And I've really enjoyed that aspect of having an older kitchen. And I think that inside the cupboards is so beautiful. I am going to do it on this one as well. This is where we keep our plates and our glasses and things like that, in this cupboard. The other cupboards down below, I'm actually going to line them with them. So when you open it up, you can see the cupboards, because they're down low, lined with this pretty paper. I'm just so happy with the way that turned out. And the paper wasn't super expensive or anything. Super quick little facelift to the cupboards, and I just think it looks so cute. Well, I am really happy with everything that I got done this morning, and I think I'm actually going to stop at this point. I was going to go and paint the office, but I think I'm going to wait and do that tomorrow morning. And I did promise to take you along with the whole office renovation that we're doing, so I'll make sure that I film some of that for you so that you can see that. So all we have now to do, we're going to paint it, and then we are putting tongue and groove pine on the ceiling, so that'll be a tag team job. Dan and I will do that together, and then he will lay the flooring, and then we're going to be able to get it set up, which is so exciting. And we're building a desk for it as well, so we'll take you along with us for that. I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. I am so happy to be back here with you. I haven't been able to film a lot of videos in the last couple of weeks, so this is really nice to be here with you. And just a reminder, if you want to enter our giveaway, the links to do that are down in the show notes below. For all of the prizes that I am offering, you can sign up for our newsletter, and then the link for signing up for the giveaway for the Harvest Right freeze dryer, which is the grand prize for our giveaway, is also down in the show notes below. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.